Welcome everyone to Digital Entrepreneurs. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm going to try to make it a weekly cadence that I come talk to you guys. So today I want to talk about how do you come up with a good idea and how do you validate it's a good idea. So I'm going to give you 3 frameworks for you to understand how do you validate a good idea, and stick to the end, and I'm going to give you one more tip about how to validate your idea. A lot of friends and family come to me with an idea, saying, hey, I have this great idea and I want to understand how do I make it into a business. And I've done this, feels like hundreds of thousands of times, and I've done this for my own ideas. You as entrepreneurs, you're always coming up with ideas, right? So really, how do you validate this is a good idea, and what are the next steps? So before you worry about, hey, I have to build my authority, I have to build a funnel, I have to make sure I have a website, a Facebook page. Before you do any of this, the first step is to validate it is a solid idea and you can actually run a business out of it, right? That's the first thing I want you guys to do. So how do you do it? So I'm gonna give you 3 frameworks. The first one is to research. A lot of you, including me, when I started out early on, jumped directly into, I have an idea, I'm gonna go do this, and I've got a website, a product, and try to sell it. It didn't work out well. So take my advice from this, and you talk to any successful entrepreneur, the first step they do is researching the idea. So what do you do for research? There has to be competition in the market, right? So you go look at your competitors, go look at blogs, look at forums, look at YouTube, and analyze what are the 3 things that people are worried about. Usually they're fixing a problem. Somebody has a problem they're trying to fix, or there is a frustration. You can hear words like, I hate this, I'm so frustrated with this, when you see in blogs, you see in forums. And then the last thing is, I don't like the solution, it's too slow, can I make it better? So it's either addressing a problem, a frustration, or making something better, right? So first thing is dive deeper into it, find out more about your potential clients' problems and frustration. Find out what your existing competition is doing. Go to the website, go to the YouTube page, go to their Instagram page. Every market is different. So I can't tell you Instagram is going to work for you. YouTube is going to work for you. So for example, I work people who have B2B, like a revenue cycle management. It's very popular in India with a lot of clients in the US, revenue cycle management. So that's a B2B play. I've helped people who have done more of a business to consumer play, whether it's a cryotherapy business, or they're selling something, a product or a service to the end user, an event management company in India, right? So every industry is different. So when I talk to the person who was running the RCM business, the first thing I said is go look at the competition, look at what problem they're solving, what is the unmet need in the market, what are the clients saying, and then let's go through it, because you don't want to be just another entry in the market and competing on price, right? So you really want to understand what the problem they're solving. So everything you research will be a great asset for you as you build your business. So just to recap, make sure you go to blogs, make sure you go to YouTube, Instagram, and look at what a competition doing. And again, what you'll find is surprising is some of them might have like 300,000 followers on YouTube, and then they'll have like 50 on Instagram. That's when you realize, okay, this market is a how-to. They're trying to find a how-to, so they more or less depend on YouTube to do that. And this one is Instagram, more, let's say you're doing coaching or something to do with the wellness market. Instagram is a great market for it because it's very visual. So these are the things I want you to find out: is understand your market, understand your competition, understand if they're making money. You can look at their website, you can look at what they're doing. So again, put aside list building, funnel, authority, website is not necessary at this point. First, do the research. Once you've done the research, you have a good feel for who's the competition, what are they doing, how they're making money, right? That's the first step. What is next step? Now that you have a good hold of this, the next step, first step was research. The next step is validate. Okay. One of the things you realize as you are now growing up as an entrepreneur, you'll understand when you go talk to friends and family and say, I have this amazing solution, 90% of them are going to say, oh, that's great, I'll buy it. The difference between people saying they'll buy it versus actually buying it makes a difference between a successful business and not failure, basically, right? Because I have, as an entrepreneur, you're always coming up with ideas. You're like, oh my God, this is great, this is great. So you will understand the opportunity is endless. But what you don't understand is it solving a problem? So that's why you've done the research first. You know exactly the frustration, what they are feeling as far as pain, and then what they do want better. So right, you at least have that armed with you. So based on that, now you have a product or a service, and you're gonna try to present it to your potential clients. Get some feedback. Even the good feedback is good, but where the rubber meets the road is when somebody actually pays for your service or product, is when you are in business. And a lot of us forget that, including me. So I'm not preaching, I'm just telling you from my experience. So what we need to do is validate they're willing to pay money for the product or service you have. So how do you do that? That's where the MVP, the minimum viable product or service, comes into play. So you create, if you're creating a product with not a lot of bells and whistles, you create a prototype, and then you show that. You create a service prototype. Let's say you want to do online business, right? You want to build websites for people or build funnels for people. That's your business. Build a simple prototype and take it to your potential clients and show it to them and see if that's what they're interested. So you can go through a process of iteration, but the end is you need to sell it as a pre-sales, right? Like even before you create the product, let's say the product's going to be $100, but pre-sale price is $50 because you want to make sure somebody's paying you money. Whether it's a service product, pre-sell the product even before you create it. That's when you get into validation that those who just said, yeah, I'll buy it, versus no, this is a problem you're solving, here's the money, right? That validation is what you need to know that you're actually solving a problem. So keep that in mind. So you've done the research, you've validated it, you've actually shown it to potential customers, and they've given you their money even before you build the product or service. So now at least you are onto something. The last thing for me is me. This is personal to me because I think I'm driving my wife crazy, but I see opportunities every day, hundreds of opportunities. I go out, I see a problem, whether I'm playing soccer, whether I'm taking the kids to school. I'm like, oh my God, this is a great opportunity. Let's do this. And I've done a lot of business like this. I've imported granite from India. I started an online e-learning company teaching Hindi and Tamil to kids here. It's a great opportunity, right? But let's internalize a little bit, right? And right now you've researched, great market, great product. Next one, you validated, people are willing to pay for you. But before you do that, along those lines, look at, is this something you're passionate about? Where I'm going with this is there's a lot of opportunity, and if you're not passionate about it, because there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. And the low days sometimes outnumber the high days when you're starting out. If you're not passionate about it, it's going to become a hobby or it's going to fizzle away. So do some retrospection to see, yes, this is a business I'm going to be passionate about. This is something in line with my goals for my life, or this is something, it falls in line with some skills I had in this industry. I'm going to move it over there. I know I like it. This takes a little bit longer to get to. So just all I'm trying to get across is do some validation is something you are interested in doing. A lot of the business I started where they saw money opportunity, I made money. 6 months down the line, I was bored. Like for example, the granite business, I could import granite from India, take it from India, give it here, take the money, give my supplies. I didn't know how to put money in. I was making $5,000 a container that I was bringing in. Took me 6 months. I'm like, oh, this is good money, but each container was $5,000. There's not a lot of businesses that can give you that, but it wasn't interesting for me. It wasn't solving a big problem. I was doing a pricing arbitrage play, right? Like I knew contacts, they needed somebody, I put them in play. I'm not saying it's a bad business. It wasn't for me. I know a lot of my friends who went to college with me who are doing amazingly well. They do anywhere from 7 to 15 containers a month. That's their passion. They really enjoy doing that. That wasn't for me. So you know what's right for you. So you need to make the call. So do the research and then validate it's a good business idea, and then make sure it's good for you. So if you do these 3 things, you will have a better chance of being successful. Since you stayed to the end, I have a bonus tip for you. This is something that also helps you kind of wrap your mind around, is this a business that's worth pursuing for you? And it is something that you would enjoy doing. I read this in an Inc. magazine. I think it was Dr. Jake who wrote about it, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. There's different ways to make money. Let's say your aim is to make 1 lakh rupees. How are you going to make it? Right? So let's say that I'm going to come up with 3 price points. Right? And I think he made a good, this is a fly, a rabbit, and an elephant. If it was any better, I would have actually drawn that for you, but let's save it for another time. But each one of these flies is the average. What a fly means, it's a small price point business. Let's say you're just making $100 on that, $10 on this, right? You're just making $10 on this, and to get a rabbit, an average customer pays you $1,000, and if you could hunt an elephant, I don't care for hunting either. That's $1 million. So let's just say an elephant is worth 1 lakh. I had 1 extra 0, so elephant is worth 1 lakh, right? So now what you have to do is you make 1 sale with an elephant, you get 1 lakh. So what it means is you focus on a big ticket sale or transaction, and you make your 1 lakh a month, right? So again, this is on your goal. If you're saying, okay, I like this business model, you have to validate this is also accurate for what you're trying to do. So an elephant is 1 sale, you make 1 lakh. A rabbit, that's 1,000. So you need to make 100 sales, right? And then if a fly is only 10 rupees, you need to make 1,000 sales. Okay? So what you need to do is, if you are in the market and you validate the market, you say, okay, the market only is going to pay me $10, 10 rupees, and I need to do 10,000 sales to be able to get to my 1 lakh per month, right? If that's your goal, you need to remember, if I'm in the business of hunting flies, I need to do 10,000 flies before I can make it 1 lakh. If you're in the business hunting rabbits, or you're in a middle ticket item, right? Then you have to do 1,000 sales a month to get your 1 lakh. Or are you in the business of hunting an elephant, which is 1 sale every month, but every sale gives you 1 lakh? There's no right way or wrong way. It absolutely depends on your product, your service, what the market is willing to pay, and are you willing or have the infrastructure or the sales force to be able to support this, because this is a completely different sales approach versus high ticket sales, right? So you need to make that call, because what I realized is when I was building the cryo business, in my head, each sale transaction was about $300. Ended up being $30 instead of 300. So I was somewhere in the rabbit. I thought, okay, if I make 1,000, I'm going to be making the money it made, but actually ended up being more close to the fly, right? So it was a different transaction model, and it completely changed my whole sales structure. So I had to hire more salespeople to be able to do this. So you have to make that decision. Once you look at this, is like, I am in the high ticket sales. My product service is gonna give me, I just need to get 2 clients, I can get to my goal. Or I'm gonna have to do 1,000 clients. Is it possible to have the infrastructure? So those are the decisions you need to make. And again, not only your infrastructure, do you have a client? Because is that problem big enough? Or people, can you find 10,000 people, whether it's Facebook? How are you gonna get to it? So all these frameworks need to be applied before you make a decision that this is a good business, a valid business, and you will enjoy making money and doing this business long term. So keep that in mind, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.